Welcome to Radio B2B, the only truly free, unbiased and open internet radio platform for business in Africa.
I'm privileged now to be chatting with Nitin Sharma from Kurt Salmon Accenture. And we are talking about what he is going to be talking to the SAPEX 2017 conference about. He is speaking on Monday, the 5th of June from 11:40 to 12:30. And Nitin, thank you so much for joining me on Radio B2B.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So you are talking on the future of Latin America's omni-channel retail market.
That is correct.
Why Latin America?
Latin America is a very interesting dynamic where you have a lot of macroeconomic factors playing into account, such as what is the political environment, employment, inflation, and all these macroeconomic factors play into the retail market and define and shape the customer behaviors. And as a result, the retailers have to adapt. So I think it's extremely interesting how Latin American market has evolved over the last few years because of those factors.
But specifically in relation to the South African market, what are the parallels that you're hoping to draw?
What I'm hoping to draw, and based on my initial research, I think the market has similar kind of macroeconomic dynamic. We've got, economic turmoil with some nations, the impact of inflation, which has been higher as a percentage than the GDP growth. And as a result, the e-commerce proliferation, for example, when it comes to retailers, is somewhat similar, where e-commerce still forms a fairly low percentage of the overall retail market. And that's where there's a lot of scope for growth. So on the maturity curve, as I put it, Latin America and Africa are fairly similar on that retail curve as part of like the developing countries.
What's interesting to me is to know or to be able to detect when the South African online purchasing power meets expectations, meets, let's call it the maturational profile of its more Western counterparts. When is it that you know that you have an established and a developed e-commerce trading culture in a country?
So, yeah, I mean, that's always a balancing act. What we are, predicting is for Latin America, I can say for sure it's kind of, 2018 and beyond when e-commerce is really going to take off and integrate into the brick and mortar ecosystem. But the balancing act is the fact that the profitability from a retailer's point of view is not as high on the e-commerce front. So that's where the retailers got to kind of jump in and shape some of that customer behavior strategy as well, where we can still maintain the relevance of the brick and mortar infrastructure while boosting e-commerce.
I think the question that retailers sometimes want to ask, even if they don't ask, is it necessary to replace my traditional retail trading environment with an e-commerce platform which acknowledged is going to give me lower margins, possibly a higher turnover, but lower margins. In other words, why should I want to chase that kind of platform?
Yeah, I mean, you raise a really good point where retailers have kind of been wondering as to, why should I go to that integrated platform? And it comes down to can they enable something that offers them synergy. So, from a supply chain perspective, from a fulfillment perspective, from a systems perspective, is it that they can leverage a common set of warehouses for product fulfillment? Can they leverage some of their stores for e-commerce order fulfillment? And can they have a global inventory visibility, leverage the same set of platforms systemically. So those are some of the factors that play into the retailer's hands where they can start to leverage some of the synergies across brick and mortar and e-commerce. So there's value there.
But the reality is that in leveraging the synergies you're talking about, certainly the UK model seems to show that one is going to need to run parallel supply chain and inventory systems to be able to cater online on the one hand, but also equally so into stores which invariably are not going to necessarily be discontinued in the process.
Absolutely. That's a great point as well. I mean, stores continue to stay relevant. It's a lot more about experience. So those stores are kind of transforming into experience centers where the customer walks in, as we talk about showrooming, but then kind of giving it a positive spin where a customer walks into the store and makes a favorable decision towards the purchase. The store associates are knowledgeable and are able to cross-sell and upsell. And like I said before, also leveraging the stores for fulfillment as mini warehouses. So a lot of ways in which the stores would continue to stay relevant. And some examples of traditional, like Aho's acquisition of Peapod for expansion into e-commerce. The complementary example to that would be Amazon opening its stores in Los Angeles and New York. They just want the shoppers to look and feel and have, it gives them a feeling of personalization if the shoppers are able to walk in the store and talk to the associates and so forward.
I'm speaking with Nitin Sharma, and he's strategy manager at Kurt Salmon in the USA, and he is going to be speaking at the SAPEX Cape Town 4th to the 7th June 2017 conference. Nitin, finally, what is it that you want the South African attendee to be able to hear and to be able to walk away from your talk thinking?
So there's the key message that I want to make during the meeting is the future trend. How does the South African market look 2018 and beyond? What should be the retailer's strategy? In terms of being able to organically grow versus grow discount chains, and being able to cater to this evolving African customer, which is young, tech savvy, and fueling e-commerce growth. So adoption of technology and evolution of retailers to be able to adapt to this customer behavior is something that I'm going to highlight, and I'm hoping that would be a very good takeaway for the audience.
Sounds like a fantastic opportunity for South African players in the retail space to seriously think, in comparison to their Latin American counterparts, to seriously think about the trajectory for invariably increasing online trade, because it's not necessarily something you're ever going to be able to run away from. Nitin Sharma, thank you so much for coming on to Radio B2B. I look forward to hearing your talk at the SAPEX conference, 4th to the 7th of June 2017, and hopefully we'll chat more then.
Absolutely. My pleasure talking with you, and I really, really look forward to meeting like-minded people at the conference and being able to shed some light on the e-commerce trends.
Thanks, Nitin. Go well.
Thanks.
The Radio B2B Weekly News Review.